Yeah. So I took a nap, or should I say a short rest. And I had the most intense dream. And it was sort of like a nightmare. It was just crazy. Like, it was like it was crazy. It was like one of my family members, I'd say, was cloned. Look exactly the same, right? And I think he was in my place. In this place right here. And he was trying to corner me, basically, and keep me stuck in there so that he can, you know, end my life, basically. And in the dream, it was like there was a lot of plants on the ground in the living room. And these plants, I noticed that they were some type of weird plants. Like, they were very colorful. But they were like, you know, they had leaves like regular green plants. But they weren't green plants. They were colorful. They were like, the leaves were rainbow. And in each pot, there was like there was batteries wrapped together. And it was like the plants were charging the batteries. But at the same time, there was some weird insects. And that was just so scary, you know, to see all those insects. I was like, oh my gosh. When I saw that, I noticed that this family member that was cloned, he basically made it so that I couldn't go around a certain way. But I still escaped. I was like, he tried to get me to stay in the kitchen at first, but then when I went to the living room, I went behind some type of furniture that was blocking the kitchen, and I noticed that he was also trying to block the doorway. But as soon as I noticed what he was doing, I basically took one of the furnitures that I had. I think it was like some type of table or some type of flat surface, right? And I slid down the stairs and got away. I basically like, and I was going down the stairs backwards, you know. But I actually made it out. And then after that, the dream was over. That was a crazy ass dream. And it's just crazy because it's like in the dream, he was also talking about his girlfriend, and he was also talking about he was calling people on the phone at the same time while talking to me. And it was just disturbing. Like, something about his energy was disturbing. Like, I realized that it wasn't really him. It looked like him, but it was not him, because he didn't have the same personality. It seemed like his personality shifted. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think that they cloned him. Because, you know, the day before I was doing some research on what the you know what does to your DNA. And it basically changes the U to like a U with a line through the middle, basically. And that's basically the Luciferians, basically, you know? And it makes sense because the way that it's shaped is literally like the symbol of what the devil, you know that it's almost the same as the Barbados symbol or the Maserati symbol or the you know, it's the same symbol as that. Like it changes your DNA to that. And it's like, the thing about that is, you know, I feel like it's sort of symbolic in the sense that you, the letter U, but it really means you, and then a line through it, just like a line through, like when people have a needle, that line is going through you, right? And it turns all the U's into it having that line through it. So it's just crazy. Like when I was reading about that, I was like, wow, so literally the people, it's like they don't really even have to like by you taking the thing, you know, it's basically like a way of cloning you. So it's like you might still be in the same body, but you're different at the same time. So you're a clone based on the fact that it's like, it's sort of like you are still, it's like your DNA is still similar, but it just has that line through the U's. So technically, it's almost like you are not you anymore. And that's crazy. Like you might, it's like, instead of you being you, it's like you start doing things that you don't even think that you're doing. But you start doing things that are controlled by some type of mechanism. I think, you know, if you think about it, the U's are sort of like that, right? I think maybe that's like that swirl thing. Maybe that represents the U's and the line through it. it's like, it almost it almost reminds me of the snake symbol and the rod. So it's like having eternal life and having knowledge, but then at the same time, it's basically like they're trying to tell you that you could live forever, basically, by taking that. Oh, like if you take this, you won't get sick. I'm like, so then what are you? Are you a robot? Sort of. You gotta ask these questions. You have to ask these questions because you don't know what you're dealing with here. And the fact that they would go so far to force you to take something in order to be a part of something, like, it just seems to me like they're trying to stop the natural way of, the organic people, or like the natural people, from living. You don't have to be taking these things in order to be a part of society. That's almost like saying, oh, you don't deserve to live because you won't take the you know what in order to work in commerce with us. Like, it just, what they're doing is genocide. If you really think about it, it's genocide, because they're making it harder for you to interact with your family and your friends. Because, in order to enjoy a location together, you have to have the card. And if you don't have the card, you are not allowed to enter. So then what does that mean for you? You're losing your cultural connection. You're losing your ability or your right to develop and develop with the people around you. So it's like now you're in the dark while everybody else is, that got the thing and have the card, can go wherever they want. Like, but for you, because you want to be like natural, organic, you're not allowed to live. Like, you see how that's not a good thing? They're taking away your rights. And not only are they taking away your rights by you having to take it, but they're taking away the rights of every other human and every other being on this planet. Think about all the people in the jungles. Like, oh, do they have to take it? Do they have to get a card in order to go places? It's not necessary for them because they live in the jungle, right? But if you are in the city and you don't have experience in the jungle, that does not mean you could go back to the jungle unless you do a whole series of things just to get back there. But then that's going to be a whole nother learning curve for you to have to deal with going to the jungle. Like, do you really want to go back to living like that? Like, you know, like, if you really think about it, what they're doing is just, it's very harmful, it's very dangerous. And if you don't stand up for your rights, they not only are you agreeing to not have your rights respected, but you're also agreeing to not having other people's rights respected. It should be something that people agree for themselves, not for the whole entire world to have to do the same thing. Like, it does not work like that. That's like a way of killing people, that's a way of destroying the fabric of reality, the fabric of our connection to our loved ones. They've been doing this since many different eras. Think about the Banana Republic. Think about the crack era. Think about, you know, the time when they put people in jail just because they had a little bit of marijuana. Think about the times that they, you know, there's a lot of things that people don't know. That if you say that you're black, it means that you're a civil litter mortus, which means you're dead in the eyes of the law. Because black has no, you know, original peoples. You know, you're not part of the original peoples. You're just from the racial groups of Africa, you know? Like, there's different things. And you have to stand up for your rights. You just can't, this is why we're in this state right now, because we've been giving away our rights for so long that we didn't even realize when they were doing that before. And it's like every single time, you know, time someone gives birth to a new child, they inherit all the rights that they gave away, basically, too, you know, and all the rights that they stood up for. That's why some of us are born in really, you know, poor environments and stuff. But at the same time, it's all relative, because for them, for your parents, it could be a step up. But for you, being that you are the continuation of not only your mother and father, but also your grandparents, and that means you have the DNA of your grandparents in you, and the DNA of your great-grandparents. And sometimes it's like you might be more evolved than your parents to a degree, because you saw their life, and it's like you saw how they were living, and you raised them. And now all of that energy and memory is inside the mother, which is transferred to you. So then it's almost like you are also the the grandmother and the great grandmother. And it's just a continuation of your soul. So if you don't, like, it's all about breaking the generational curses. You have to break the generational curses in order to change your reality. And just like how it was a step up for your mother or father to do something, you're gonna you're gonna go and do a step up type of situation where it's like a step up for you, but then for your children it's almost like now they inherit everything that you did, and now they have to navigate that experience. But if you set the foundation for them, you sort of can know what it's going to be like to a degree. So, and you have the responsibility for that. And you shouldn't keep on letting the world take away your rights as an original indigenous being of this planet. Like you shouldn't. So that's all I have to say for now. Until next time.